Hello, welcome to the video series, and in this video I'm going to talk about how to use routing in ReactJS. So before jump to the code, I just give you a brief about routing in ReactJS. So in this video I'm going to talk about what exactly the routing and what routing types we are using here and what exactly step we need to follow to do the routing. So the routing in React, routing means the rendering one component is in existing main component, because whenever we talk about single page application we have main component, and inside the main component we are just using or rendering the another component. So React Router has been broken into three packages. The one is the React Router, the second was React Router DOM, and React Router Native, and it's based on the requirement on your application we adopt these packages. So React Router basically is providing a core routing component and function for React Route application. React Router DOM basically provide a DOM related routing. Suppose if in application we have like button, we have link kind of things, and we need routing on click on that link or button or something, then definitely we use React Router DOM. And React Router Native basically we use when we talk about the mobile application like Android and iOS. For hybrid application we talk about routing types. So in React Router introduced several types. The one is a browser router, native router, static router, hash router, and memory router. And these all router we need to use based on the requirement, because few router here I mentioned is 5 router is there. So few router we use server side routing, few is client side routing. So it depends on the requirement we adopt that routers. So we have a 4 step when we talk about the routing in React.js. We need to follow only 4 steps. The first one, we need to install routing packages. The second one, in a main page, main entry.js file, we need to import the packages like BrowserRouter, HashRouter, has history, switch, router, because we need this one. So whatever router we need to use, just import from React Router DOM. The third step, the same entry.js file, we inside the render we need to use like browser route. Inside the browser route section we have switch. Inside the switch we need to define the route like route 1, route 2, route 3. So browser route, so these, because I'm using here browser route, so I just define browser route. But if you want to use like has router or some other router, you can use it. It depends on the requirement, we can use it. So simply I'm just using a browser route. And the fourth step, in the web.config file inside the dev server property, we need to use history API fallback. So what exactly we need to use for history API fallback? Because whenever your application running behind the proxy server, so when we are hitting, we are routing, when we getting the response, and if your application is running behind the proxy, then is going to the proxy route. Okay, going to the like it's forwarded to the proxy route, right? So just to avoid this thing, we use the fallback, so that whenever we are getting response is going to the index.html. For example, I'm using here index.html, so it's like fallback into that particular page, just to avoid this thing. So these are the 4 steps what we need to use to implement the routing. So I'll give you a code base how we can use it. So as I told you, the first step is in entry, because in my case the entry page is app.js. So here the first step I need to use, I need to import. So I need to import browser route, browser router from React Router DOM. Okay, so we need it here, the browser route, route for the routing purpose, and switch. So these are the three basic things we need it here. Okay, because I'm using here BrowserRouter, so I just use BrowserRouter. If you want to use HashRouter, you just use HashRouter here. The second step, I just need to use this BrowserRouter. Okay, and then you close it, and inside the BrowserRouter we need to use, we need to switch. Okay, so these are the things what we need to use it. Okay, and inside the switch we need to use what exactly? Routing. So route. So in route we have two important property. That one is the path, okay, and the second one is a component. So path basically define where we need to route, and the component property tell us, okay, so this is the component what we need to load on that particular path. So we need to use like this way. The same thing we can use, like suppose we have in routing like this one, like, so by default is by default, like, because we have like about page, we have contact. So this path is a user defined. You can define what exactly you want. So it's like we can put it like Brijesh, Rakesh or something, we can put it here, and when we Brijesh is there, then that particular component will render inside the main component. So here, because we have the three page already, I already created the three page like home, about and contact. So if slash is there, then by default home will render, else we use about, and in case of contact we need to use contact. Oh, so this is the step. Third is there, and after this, so when we click, what happened when we click? Oh, so we are getting some exception because of, okay, oh sorry, I just forget. Okay, yeah, so now it's successful. Okay, so you can see here, sorry, you can see here by default is home page, because by default is like home page. If I put it like this way, if I put it like about, it's home page. Okay, okay, so we will refactor the code and then it work after that. So this is happening because I put it about, so it should go and render about component here, but it is not happening here. The reason is because when we say slash, it always fall the first condition route. So here we need to put exact keyword. So if I put exact keyword, then you can see here in about, now about comes. If you put contact, the contact will come. If you put home, because we don't have any like home or something, so by default it's getting nothing. But if I put like this way, it's home. So this is the this is use of exact, like, so that when exactly slash is there, okay, this comes. Otherwise whatever page is there, or you can put like some error page or something, custom defined page. So this is the one. And then okay, I just use header. Okay, so I use a link. I just creating some anchor tag kind of here. So link, and here in link we have a property 2. Okay. Okay, this one is, sorry, home link. We can repeat the same thing and we can put it like here, about and contact. Okay, so I just created here some anchor tag. Okay, so when I click on about, when I click on contact, it should route to that particular component. Okay, and this header, we can use it somewhere here. Oops. Okay, because we already have header component. Okay, because we are getting this error, the router may have only one child. So inside that, now we have two child, like header and switch, we have two child, so we can make it in one child. So I just wrap it header and switch inside the div. So now you can see router have one child, that is a div. Perfectly fine. So now you can see here, so now you have home, about and contact. So I click on about. Okay, about component will come. If I click on contact, this one come. So this is the basic fundamental of routing in ReactJS, how we can achieve it. I just repeat one more time. We have the full step. The first step, we need to import the requirement as per the requirement. Okay, router. Second thing, we need to use the router. Inside the router we have switch case, and switch we have to define the route. So that is the routing. If you see here in a browser, I click on home, about and contacts, perfectly fine. If I use HashRouter here instead of BrowserRouter, I use HashRouter. Okay, what is the difference? You can see here. Okay, you can see here, when we use HashRouter, the by default hash comes in your URL, and if you click on about, contact or something, this is the client side routing when we are doing, so it comes like hash route. But if you are using browser side, if I use browser side routing, server side routing, then we use this BrowserRouter. And BrowserRouter work fine in your local, but when we run the same application in production environment, it will not work properly, because this routing we need to do some configuration at server side too. So use hash routing, it work fine in local environment and production environment as well. But BrowserRouter, we need to do some routing techniques in server side. Thank you so much. You have any query or any doubt, just let me know and I'll get back to you as soon as possible.